Here is the 20-ounce Sublimation Ready tumbler that I'm going to be using. I'm going to be using a shrink sleeve as well. You're going to want to have a way to measure your tumbler and heat-resistant tape, and I'm going to be using 125 sublimation paper.
For this 20-ounce tumbler, it's very important that you measure your dimensions. You want to have your height and you want to have your width. You want to make sure that you have the right size. So I'm going to go into my Canva here and I measured up my 20-ounce tumbler and it came in, I'm going to be using inches here. I have the Canva Pro account. And so I am changing this to 9.3 inches wide and 8.2 inches high. And then I'm going to hit create a new design. And then I went into Creative Fabrica. I have the all access. I'll have a link below for that. And I searched for I wanted just some beautiful dark colored flowers here like these. I really like these outline flowers. And I think I am going to go with this one here. I'm going to click on it and then I'm going to download it. And so here it is uploading. And so I'm going to open this and I am going to just click on this one here because I'm going to be keeping the PNG. And then I am going to save as, you can't see it here because it is a black image. So I'm going to save it as the Wildflower Blooms design in my downloads. So now I'm going to get rid of this here and this. And now I'm going to see what else I had looked at. Oh, I had looked at some watercolor rainbow paint splashes and I did download this one. I believe. And so I'm going to hit download again here so you can see. And yes, that's the one that I did. And so now I'm going to extract all on these because there are so many of them, just so that we can look at them. I may use these and I may not. That was just something that I thought interested me here. And so I'm going to close this now that we downloaded that. This I thought was just beautiful. This botanical line art flowers. Use that for another time, but I am going to download it here just in case I change my mind. And I am looking at some pastel backgrounds here. And I thought that this pastel marble was very pretty. So I am going to download this as well. And I am going to, as soon as it's done here, I'm going to extract the files. So I'm going to wait, it's a big file. So I'm going to give this a second here. And I am going to extract all of these as well so that we can start our design in Canva. So now I'm going to go back to my Canva here and I am going to go to uploads and I'm going to upload a file. I'm going to go to my downloads here where we download it. And here's my wildflowers. So I'll add that one first. Then I'm going to go to upload again. And I want some of these digital papers. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at these so that I can decide which one I want to bring in. These are beautiful papers here. Creative Fabrica has such a good selection of backgrounds. I think I will use this one. It's got that pretty teal color. So I'm going to add this first onto my image here. So I'm going to start and I'm just going to stretch this out. Then I'm going to grab these side ones and I'm going to stretch it all the way to the end. And now I'm going to add my wildflowers here. So I'm going to pop these in and I'm going to bring it down. Oh, maybe right there. And I might play with the color on this a little bit. So I have this paper highlighted and I'm going to go to edit. And I am going to go and look at these filters here first and see if there's anything that I like about this. Just thinking that something, yeah, I wanted a little more contrast with that black, and that looks really good. Not that one, but I do think this one is really nice. You can also go back and you can go into edit here and you can go to adjust and you can change the temperature here. You can see how that changes the color or the tint, whatever you want to do here. You can change the brightness, and you can do this as well with an image. If you have an image that you wanted to add, let's see if I can find one here. I will go to add another page here, and I'll see if I have any images of anyone in here so I can show you what I'm talking about for changing the color here. Sorry, I have a lot of things here uploaded. Let's go with this image. So I'll add this image. Now I'll go to edit and you can go into adjust again and I can brighten it up here. You can see how nice that brightens it up. And then you can add the contrast here and you can really do great things with this. You can remove the background. And so there you can see how that changed that image by using this adjusting in edit under the options here. But I'm going to delete this page because we're not working with that one. But I do like the color that we have here now. I think it really pops nicely on with these flowers. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Creative Fabrica here, and I am going to search for fonts, and I'm actually going to look for Font Duo. Font Duo, and they have some really good ones. And so what a Font Duo is two fonts that go really well together. So I am going to be putting a verse on this, and so I want to have some fonts that go well together, and I'll show you how this works here. So let's see, I should have picked this out before I moved on to this step. I did not pick out what the font that I want to use. This farmhouse is really great. I have this one installed already, but that is not the one I want to use. Let's do, I think I uploaded this oatmeal raisin already. So I want to pick one that I have not uploaded yet so that I can show you how to bring these into both your onto your computer so that you could use it into something like Cricut Design Space and that you can use it in your designing in Canva or Word or whatever. So here I'll take this Everlast Martina. We'll take that one. So let's get this and I'm going to download it first. And then I am going to unzip it. So I'll extract it first. Just extract it and then we can get rid of this. So now these are the extracted files, and you can see that it has open type font and true type font. We're going to be using the open type font. So in order to put them on your computer, all you do is you open this file, and right here it says install. And this is Everlast Martina. So I'm going to hit install here, and that will install it on my computer. So here I'll go to a Word document. And I'll highlight some text that I have here, and I'll change this to Everlast Martina. So you just look in your fonts, Everlast Martina. There it is. There's the font that we just uploaded. So I'll make this bigger so that you can see it here. I'll make it probably 20 so that you can see there's the font. So let's download the other one now. So I'm going to go into here and I'm going to pick the San as well. And here is the other font that looks good with it. So I'm going to install that as well. So you can see it's installing it on the computer. Now, if you're using something like Cricut Design Space, you're going to have to close your Cricut Design Space and then reopen it and then find it in your system fonts. So let's go and Everlast Martina Sand. So I'll make this one that. So I highlighted that. Now let's go find Everlast Martina. Everlast, there it is. All right, so I'll make this bigger so that you can see it. There you go. They're the two fonts together that we just put in. So now we'll go into, I'm going to go back to um, my Creative Fabrica here, and I'm going to go to Tools, and I'm going to go to Font Cloud because I'm going to upload these into my Font Cloud as well, because then if there are some swooshes that we can use, we can put them in too. So now you just go here and you can drop your font in. So I'm going to hit Browse, and I'm going to find that font. Everlast Martina right here, and I want the open type file. So I'm going to take the regular first, and I'm going to open that. And then I'm going to do the other one. Where is it? Let's do this first. Everlast Martina regular. So here it is, the one that we just uploaded into our font cloud. And I want to make sure that I have this in here, and I want to show you what it's going to look like. So it's going to take a minute here. So while this is working, we'll go and we'll start on our Canva project here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a text box here. Click the T, add a text box. And now I'm going to go up here into the font, the name of the font, and I'm just going to click on that. And then I'm going to scroll to the bottom here, and it says upload a font. Again, remember, I have the Pro account. So I'm going to go and upload, first of all, the Martina regular open type font. So I'm going to click OK. Now it's asking if we have permission to use it. And yes, I do. So we're going to upload this one. And now I'm going to go again, and I'm going to add another text box here. You don't have to add another one, but I am just going to do that. And then upload a font, and we're going to do the Everlast Martina Sand. Yes, upload. And now let's go and find these fonts so that you can see them. So I'll make this bigger here. This text box, I'll make it bigger. And I'll highlight this, and then I'll go find our Everlast. These are all fonts here that I've uploaded from Creative Fabrica. DE Everlast Martina, right there is that one. And now this other one here, I'll make this bigger as well so that you can see it. And I'm going to bring it up here, highlight it. I'm going to change the font to Everlast Martina regular. So there you go. There's those two fonts together. So now what we're going to do with this is I am going to add some text to this. So I'm going to go to my Word document because I actually put a Bible verse in there that I want to use. So I'm going to hit Control C, and then I'm going to go back to my Canva, and I'm going to hit Control V. So that brought the verse in. So I'm going to shrink this down because I don't want it that big. And I'm going to move it over here just so that we can see it. And I'm going to make it bigger. And I'm going to drop this down. I don't want all that in caps. And now we're going to look at a couple things here. This T here, and there is a T here. So let's go back to our font cloud here. Now you can see that it brought in the font, and I'm going to scroll down here so that you can see what it brought in, and I'll show you how these work. Here you go. So you see that it's got the swoosh or whatever you want to call these, the glyphs on. You can see the A. So let's find the T. So here's the glyph on this side of the T, on the left side. So all you do is you click on that, and you can see here it says character copied to clipboard. So now we're going to go back here, and I am going to make this bigger so that you can see again. And I'll go to my T here on the top, right here, and I'm going to backspace, and then I'm going to hit Control V. And then see how that brought in the T with the glyph on it? So let's do that with this T as well. So I'm going to backspace out, and then I'm going to find my T with the glyph on the other end. Here's the T with the glyph on the right. So I'm just going to click on it, copies it to the clipboard, and then you go in and put your cursor back there in the spot that you want it. Oops, just picking up this one. Let me get this out of the way here. That and get in here and put that back where I wanted the cursor, and then hit Control V. Oops, dang it. Let's see what happened here. Get rid of that. That is not what I wanted to do. So let's go back down here. Let's make this bigger. We probably have room. And then Control V. And there is the glyph at the end of the T. And so then you could go on and do that to any of these. Here is another T for they. So I can go back in here and find the T on the left side, copy it, go back in, and where was it? Here, right here, and then Control V again. And you can see that you could do this on many different letters. Here is an E, so I'll backspace that and then go back up to my font cloud, and that's an E on the right. So I'm going to copy this one, copy to clipboard, go back up into my project, and where was it? Right here. Control V. And then you can see how you can add these glyphs into your design. So now I'm going to move this over, and then I am going to write on this one. I'm going to go back and get my Isaiah 40:30, Control C, and then I'll bring that back into my design and Control V. And there is a good start to what I want this to start to look like. So now I'm going to shrink this design down so I can see it and get it centered better here. Get this in. And of course, you could add a name. You could do whatever you want. You don't have to add something like this. You could really make it beautiful and add someone's name or anything else to it as well. So now let's go and click on our words here. So I'll make this a little bit bigger for you again. So we're clicked on our words. Now I'm going to go up to text color here. And as you can see, it brought in a color palette from the designs that we're using. You can see the different colors here. So you obviously can't see it with that or any of these, but I am going to show you what I'm going to do here. So I'm going to go up to effects here, and I am going to outline, and it brought this color in because it thought that that was a good color, and it is a good color. And so it didn't give me many choices, but here I'm going to go to new color, and I'm going to play around a little bit and kind of get this to pop here. And then you can add a thickness to this, make it thicker or thinner, whatever you want to do. You don't have to put an outline on there. I actually kind of like white as an outline as well. And then you could go here. You could change again the font color and go with something like this as the font color. Like back up here, highlight this, and then change the font color to, let's go back and change it to this. And then you can see how that changes the whole outlook. Now I'm going to highlight it again, and I'm going to go to effect, and I'm going to go to the outline color, and I'm going to change the color of the outline, and I'll make it something darker so that we can see it much better around that color. And so this is another way that you could change the look of your letters on here as well. You can also start grouping them. So, okay, so I'm going to now, I'm going to duplicate this right here, duplicate page, and I'm just going to duplicate it, and then I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to get rid of this, and we're going to play with something else here. So now let's see, add a text box, and we'll use the same font that we had before. Let's see. Let's do something for retirement. Let's go back and look for cute woman retirement saying, quote, and see what comes up here. Let's see. You can't retire from being awesome. That's kind of cool. So let's see if we can put something in there like that. Okay. I gotta get the whole thing highlighted here. You can't retire. Oops. Ow! If I could type today. You can't retire. And then let's put in the other text box here. And we'll change this to Martina. Go up here. It'll show the last ones that we've used. And we'll make it Everlast. You can't retire from being awesome. So now I'll stretch this out so that you can see it. And I'm going to bring it in here, bring it up. I don't want these capitalized, so that's the first thing I'm going to do. So I'm going to make it a small a and a small f. All right, now I'm going to move it over a little bit. And now if you go here to your spacing bar, I am going to change my line spacing up here to about right there. So, and let's see, you can also add a name. So let's add another text box. Let's get this one centered a little bit better. And you can stick it in there where it fits in between the letters nicely. Let's see, get that right up in there. If you make it bigger, it makes it easier to see. So now we got that up in there. So let's go and see what we can find for the F and the E. Okay. F on the left. Right here. So I'm going to click on it and I'm going to take it into our design and I'm going to backspace and Control V. All right, and then we'll put the E as well. So let's get the E on that side. So on the right here, click, go back, put the cursor where it needs to be and Control V. All right, that's kind of cool. So now I'm going to move this over and get it back in and just kind of bring it together a little bit here. So now I'll make it smaller so that we can look at how it looks on our design. You can't retire from being awesome. And so you can see how you can bring things together and then you can add a name. I'll just put my name in there, Cindy. And I'm going to make this bigger and I'm going to change it to the other font, Martina, this one. All right, so let's see how that looks. Get it a little smaller here. So you can customize a design and add someone's name to it as well. All right, so I'm going to move this over just a hair there and to get that nicely centered in there. So now I'm going to go to effects here. And for this name, I am going to just do a white background on that and then maybe just move it up a hair here. And you can see how you can create custom designs easily with this. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to play with this one some more because I don't like that look. So I am going to take the outline off and I am going to change this to black again because I really like the contrast of the black. I like the contrast of the black. I'm going to make this a little bigger too. Whoops. Go back. You can always hit your undo button there. Make it bigger this way. And bring it back down in. I just want to make it bigger so that it can be read better. And so now what you're going to do then is I'm going to, let's see. It's a little bit too big. I don't want it on my flower. So actually I'll just move my flower down. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to download these. So you go to share and you're going to download. And I have the Canva Pro, and so I can change the DPI. So I'm going to raise this all the way up. I am going to be downloading this as a PNG, and I am going to use transparent background here just because I can. I don't think you'd need a transparent background for this. I don't think you'd have to raise your DPI. So if you are using the free account, you don't need to do that. You probably can't install the fonts. You might be able to, but I'm not sure. So now I'm going to hit download. And after this is done downloading, I'm going to go in and I am going to unzip this. I will show you after it's done downloading. That again. I'm probably going to have it twice because it is a huge file. So I'm going to download it. Yep, I'm going to have it twice because it's still downloading the first one. So I am going to get a Word document going here. So I'm actually just going to delete this Bible verse here. So I have my Word document here and I'm going to shrink this down a little bit for you so that you can see it. So I'm going to go to layout here and I turn my orientation to landscape. That tends to work best for me for tumblers. And I have set some margins to 0. So that's what we are going to be using here. So now I'm going to go and get rid of all of these. I don't need these here. And I'm going to go into my files here and see if our download is done. Here it is. So now I'm going to extract both of these and I'm going to give it a different name or it's going to cover up something else. Let's see. Tumbler retirement. All right, so I'll extract it just so that I can find it back again. So now I am going to insert the image. So I am going to go to my downloads here and I am going to find these here and I'm going to look at them because I'm only going to put one in. I like this one. It's kind of cool. So now you can see that it comes in. And if you go under picture format here, you can see that it came in by 8.2 and 9.3. And that's exactly what you want. So I'm going to go here to this icon and it's layout option. And I want to do the wrap and through so that I can move it around on the page. And I'm just going to move it here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to picture format, click on your picture format, and I'm just going to go up one click. So it's 8.3 and 9.41. That's because when I trim it down, I'm going to overlap slightly on the back so that, and the top and the back, I'll trim it around. I just don't want it to be too small. So I go up one, and then I'm going to go to File and Print. And I'm going to be using my Epson EcoTank 2840 that I have converted over to sublimation printing by adding sublimation ink. I'll have a link below for a video showing how to do that. And under options, I am going to choose premium presentation paper matte. I am going to be using sublimation paper. And so I want high quality here. And then under more options, I'm going to turn off bidirectional, or you might have high speed. You want that off. You want to make sure that you're mirroring your image. And then under image options, I like to emphasize more and emphasize thin lines, then hit OK, OK, and it's ready to print.
This is a sublimation printer. It is an Epson EcoTank that I have converted over to sublimation printing, and I'll have a link below for how to convert a printer. And here is the print right out of the printer. And here it is right after I trimmed it with the scissors. Check your design to make sure that you are not putting it on upside down. So now I'm pulling the sides together and I'm going to add my heat resistant tape. And this is how I tape. So I put one piece of tape to go through the top, one piece on each side of the bottom, and then up the seam. And as you can see, I have a very slight overlap on my seam. And now I'm just going to put a little heat on it with my heat gun and get that shrink going. You don't have to get this 100% on. You just want to get it so that when you put it in the oven, it's ready to go. And that's it. I'm not going to do it any more than that. And this is the air fryer that I'm going to be using for this tumbler. I'm setting it at 385 degrees to preheat. You can see it's just a basket air fryer. I believe it's a 7 or 8 quart. I did line it with these silicone mats just so that the tumbler doesn't scratch. So now I am going to get this started to heat up. So I'm going to let it heat up for 2 to 3 minutes before I add my tumbler. Be sure to have heat protection. I am going to be using these heat resistant gloves, and I'll have a link below for these as well. So I am putting my tumbler in now, and I'm going to start this for 4 minutes, and after 2 minutes, I'm going to rotate it. All right, it's time to rotate it. So I'm just going to open it up, and I am going to rotate it. Now the seam is up, and it'll go for 2 more minutes. Here it is right out of the air fryer. So I'm going to let this cool for a little bit, and then I'm going to unwrap it. It is easier to get the shrink wrap off when it's still a little warm. All right, I've got some of the shrink wrap off here. I do not use tools when I am unwrapping. I just use my hands because tools can scratch the finish. And here it goes. Let's get a good look here. And here it is. It is still quite hot, so I'm going to keep my hand on it here. But as you can see, it turned out so well. I like to add a rubber bottom. It has the care instructions on it as well. And here it is completed. It turned out so well. I just love to make personalized gifts for people. This one's for me, but I just love it. I created a mock-up of the design here on the right and the actual tumbler on the left. Thanks for watching my video. Please subscribe to my channel, see links below, and leave me a comment.